Yo, RX back with another recap of UFC Vegas 97, Silva versus Andrade. Yes, that was not the main event. No, I don't give a fuck. I'm calling it by that name. If you don't like it, I don't care, cause that was the real main event. Now, to continue my intro, we back with another recap of a card that was terrible. Yeah, this card sucked. I don't think I'm shocking you when I say that. The card looked terrible on paper and was terrible in execution. Yeah, it was a super below average Apex card, easily one of the worst cards of the year. Not the worst, I still think. What did I think the worst card of the year was? I don't think it's Spivak Tybura bad or Tuivasa Tybura bad. Man, Tybura has some shit cards, but it's right next to them. Like, this was dreadful to watch. Like, it felt like a waste of time, and a lot of UFC cards have felt like that this year, which is not cool. Like, I remember 2021, 2022, cards felt like they mattered. At this point, fuck, even ones that are meant to be good suck, and this one was not meant to be good, and it sucked, so annoying, but we expect it at this point from the UFC, so just take it on the chin and keep rolling. So, yeah, trying to think if there's anything else to say. The card was fucking terrible. I don't think you're surprised. And, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say before getting into the recap. So, one thing left to say, I guess, is before I get into the recap, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, let's recap some shitty fights. 12 fights in total, nothing changed from weigh-in day. We did see 2 people miss weight, and I will talk about that when I get there, but both those fighters lost, as they deserved to, and yeah, outside of that, all 12 fights went off without a hitch. The LSP fight, we lost before the weigh-ins, and yeah, can't really think of anything else to say. Ready to recap some shitty fights. Let's just get this over with. As we begin the night with a terrible fight in the featherweight division, as we had Nathan Fletcher versus Zygimantas Ramaska. Not gonna waste a lot of time here. Completely pointless, terrible fight. In round 1, Ramaska dominated. Like, all Fletcher did was try and cuddle him. Got like 2 or 3 takedowns, and that's it. Ramaska cut him open pretty badly, landed the better shots, had some really nice transitions, and was just the better fighter. I expected all 3 judges to give that round to Fletcher, which would have been wrong, but thankfully I was wrong, and 2 judges had it scored right, so good job. Zygimantas clearly won round 1, because he was actually fighting. In round 2, sadly, that didn't last too much longer, because about a minute 14 in, Fletcher took him down and subbed him with an arm triangle, and that was that. Yeah, not gonna waste a lot of time here. Pointless, shitty fight between 2 pointless, shitty fighters. Not very much I can really say. I'm still not impressed with Nathan Fletcher. I think the dude's terrible. I don't think I saw him throw a punch. He's scared to actually fight, and he's a little bitch. So, you're not a fighter, and at this point, I'm not calling you a fighter. You're a wrestler. So, yeah, and you gotta fucking earn your fighter card back. So, yeah, you're in the UFC, but you didn't fight. Sorry, man. And then fuck you. And then for Zyga, yeah, Zyga's the better fighter, he just can't stop a fucking takedown. He has good ground game, his striking's good, but he kinda quit in this fight, and he has no takedown defense, so, yeah, both these guys should have been left on tough. They're both fucking terrible, and, yeah, no fight idea, because I could give a fuck. Nathan will probably lose when he fights someone. Well, Nathan will lose the second he fights anyone good, and Zygimantas, if he somehow gets another fight, will definitely lose. So, waste of time, pointless, they both suck, and, At least this fight's finally over. We don't gotta see it rebooked again. Pointless. And speaking of pointless and terrible, our second fight of the night. Oh boy, yeah, this might be one of my quickest fucking videos because I don't want to recap this card. I'm not lying to you. I don't want to recap this. The only reason I'm doing it is for y'all. I'm gonna do breakdown recap for every fucking card, no matter what. And I have recapped much worse cards than this year, so yeah. But not really much else to say. Let's just get into this terrible second fight of the night and the first real fight of the night. Since it's not a tough fight, funny enough, we have a tough fighter, as we have in the middleweight division, André Petroski versus Dylan Budka. I'll start off with Budka was one of the two fighters to miss weight. He missed at 188. He missed weight by a couple pounds, weighing in at 188.5. How this fight was still allowed to happen, I don't know. If you've seen Budka on the scales, he looked fucking ill. But I guess he just needed a little water in him, and he was fucking good to go. So good to see he's okay, I guess. But outside of that, fuck, I got nothing good to say about this fight. For 15 boring minutes, Petroski was a better fighter. My bad. I'm starting to remember Petroski ain't a fighter, he's a wrestler. He laid on Budka for 15 minutes, and it was boring as shit. Yeah. Better than the Fletcher fight, in a way. Like, I know a finish didn't happen, but I was less annoyed by this fight. I expected this fight to be terrible, and terrible it was. And, yeah, not really much to say. Budka was trying to fight. I'll give Budka that. Budka's fucking terrible, but at least he is trying to fight. He's starting to learn some striking, which is good to see. And he couldn't hit shit. Like, he could not hit Petroski if he fucking tried for some reason. But at least he's trying to become a fighter. He still has some time to go, but at least he's trying, which is a lot more than I can say for Petroski. So respect to Budka for at least trying to learn how to fight, but yeah, he's still shit. And it's just like this fight, shit. Yeah, I really don't got much else to say. Petroski laid on him for 15 boring minutes. It was completely fucking pointless. The UFC knew this fight was gonna suck, so I have no idea why they even booked it. And yeah, they're terrible. It was fucking terrible. Two terrible fighters two terrible wrestlers. You know, I'll give Budka some respect. He tried to strike. Petroski, you're not a fighter. You're not a fucking fighter. I'm sure I'm gonna make a fucking club of all the wrestlers and not fighters. So, but whatever. Don't really got much else to say. Terrible fight, as expected. The only good thing about this fight, they got my pick right. So good job, Petroski, you bum bitch. Don't really have much else to say. Cut them both for all I care. No fight idea, because I don't. I'll give them a fight idea. Who's in the PFL? Terrible. Next. I'm not even gonna fucking click on this fight. Our third fight of the night. Fuck this. Fuck Amora. She blatantly cheated and got fucking rewarded. Fuck that fight. Fuck Jacqueline Amora. That shit better be overturned, because you can clear cut see her cheating. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Why have rules if you don't fucking follow them? Fuck Amora. After that, we had to our fourth fight of the night. Our first decent fight of the night. One of the only decent fights of the night. In our fourth fight of the night, in the featherweight division, we had Gabriel Santos versus Yizha. Well, this was a bad pick. This was a really bad pick. I had a feeling, and that feeling was fucking terrible. So, yeah, for 15 minutes, Santos just picked Yi apart. In round one, he dominated him. Somehow didn't knock him out when he landed a flush front kick to the face. I think round one was a 10-8, and for 2 more rounds, he just dominated Yi. Like, outside of being really tough, he had nothing for Santos. Like, on the feet, he had legitly nothing. He had a nice low kick, and that's it. On the ground, which is his specialty, he had nothing. He literally just had nothing for Santos for 15 minutes, and it was a bona fide masterclass in my opinion. And I picked against Santos, so you know I'm not being biased. Santos looked great, and he looked terrible. Like this was definitely a skill gap in this fight that was pretty fucking wide. So yeah, just not really a very close fight. So yeah, again, I had a feeling the underdog could pull it out here, and I was brutally proven wrong. Like, brutally. I'll take the L on the chin here. This was a bad pick. This was just a really bad pick. I'll take my L here. I have no problems doing that. I was wrong. So, bad pick. I'm fine with it. But, yeah, not really much else to say about the fight itself. It was kind of just a fucking beating, so I guess the only thing left to say is, well, I guess let's talk about the fighters next. I forgot we had the first fight on the card we're doing that for is the 4th fight, so Jesus. Let's start talking about Gabriel Santos, obviously. This is the best he's looked in UFC. Like, and that's saying after he fucking beat Lerone Murphy. He's now 2-1 in the UFC. I think he looked better here. Like, the Murphy, like, if you want to say which was more impressive, of course, beating Lerone Murphy is a lot more impressive, but, like, he looked pretty much, like, as close to flawless as he could in this fight. Like, he looked great. He looked really fucking good, and that Onama fight just kind of seems like it was an anomaly. I don't know if he was too cocky going in there or what, but, like, that's, like, the guy we saw fight Onama is not the guy we saw fight here or fight Lerone Murphy. So, really weird fucking, like, he looks amazing in his debut, looks awful against a step down, and then looks flawless in a stepper down. That's not a word, a bigger step down. I don't know. I think Gabriel's really good. And this is the guy I wanted to see against Onama. Sadly, we didn't see that, but we saw him here, which was good. So, my bad for picking against you, man. You look the best you've ever had. And he's back to being a really good prospect in the division. I think has all the skills to be a good prospect. His striking's good, his ground game's good, his cardio's good. He's gonna be tough for a lot of guys to beat. Like, to be honest, in an Onama rematch, if we saw the guy we saw tonight, I might take him to beat Onama. So, just a really good win for Gabriel. He deserves it. So, good to see him back on track. A loss here, and he probably was gonna get cut. So, good to see that not happen. Can't really say much else. Looked great. And then for Yizha, excuse me. Yeah, I can't really say I have many good things. He looked terrible. Like I said, outside of being really tough, he really had close to nothing for Gabriel. Like, I don't know. He really just didn't look like he had an advantage anywhere, because he didn't. On the feet, outclassed. On the ground, outclassed. He just had really nothing for Santos, so I don't know. Really weird performance from Yi after, like, looking pretty decent on the road to UFC. But, like, I swear to you, road to UFC is just, like, the fighters come from there are not good. Like, they're really not good, and we'll talk about another one in a few fights. Those road to UFC fighters just seem to be really fucking lame. Outside of Rinya Nakamura, who has came from the show and been good? Like, Anshan Jubilee, Yizha, a couple other, Rongzhu, we'll get to in a little bit. Like, those guys have just been pretty terrible since getting to the big show, and even Rinya Nakamura has kind of looked underwhelming at times, so I don't know. I like the road to UFC. I think it's a very intriguing idea, but the fighters coming from that show have just been fucking lame. So, hopefully Yi can bounce back. Hopefully the rest of the road to UFC fighters can fucking bounce back, because if they don't start fucking winning, that show seems like it's fucking pointless almost. So hopefully, knock out some fucking wood, those guys start actually, like, looking competent of fighting legit talent, and it would be nice if they started looking like capable fighters, because so far they have not. So I don't know. Bad performance by Yi, outclassed from pillar to post, and let's see how he bounces back. We'll see how he bounces back. Not really sure what else to say outside of who should I fight next for Gabriel Santos. You're not gonna throw him right back into the deep end of the division. Like, you're not gonna throw him in there like even like a lower ranked guy like a Jack Shore or a JSP. You have him fight someone like a step up, but not someone like crazy. Like let's see. Milk Costa. No, I think they're both fucking shoot the box guys. Never mind. Like Lucas Almeida would be good. A Dulgarian, I don't like that. C-Rod would be like, even C-Rod might be like even at this point it might be getting too high up. Sung Woo Choi might be decent, but again, like even then that might be too high up. So yeah, I think him and who did I say? Lucas Almeida probably is a decent fight. I think that would make a lot of sense for Santos. A nice little step up and a fight he should probably win against a guy like Almeida, who is also 1-2 or now 2-2 in UFC, who just escaped a 3-fight losing streak as well. So I think that'd be a good fight. I don't think he goes to shoot the box. No. And does Milk? I just want to prove. I just want to see if does Costa go to shoot the box? I believe he does. Yeah, so obviously Gabriel Santos is a shoot the box fighter, so. But yeah, I think Lucas Almeida probably makes the most sense. Well, I'm not really seeing anyone else that interesting, like a Jiang Yang Lee, I guess, but I really don't see the point of that fight. So I think Lucas Almeida, a little bit of a step up for Santos, a fight he should win, and both guys coming up 1-3 in their last 1-2 in their last 3. Makes sense to me. Probably be a decent fight. Let's do it. Gabriel Santos and Lucas Almeida. Sounds like a good fight to me. Book it. And then for Yizha, I really don't know. Nor do I really. Maybe I don't know. Like, do I care? Not really, but I really more don't know. So, definitely like one of the worst guys you can find in the division. Give him and see how he does. So. Yeah, can't really think of much else to say. Nice masterclass from Gabriel Santos to get back on track, get his first official win in the UFC, his second win overall in my opinion. And who should he fight next? I like him versus Lucas Almeida. I think that's a pretty decent fight. Makes sense, and should be a nice way to get him two wins in a row. So let's get that booked sometime this year or next year. And yeah, not really much else to say. Good win for Santos. Bad pick by me, picking Yi. And yeah, first good fight of the night. After that, we had to our 5th fight of the night, going to the flyweight division for a fight I actually picked perfectly to an extent, so that's fucking rare. As in our 5th fight of the night in the flyweight division, we had a banger on paper and a okay fight overall between André Lima versus Felipe dos Santos. Like I said, great fight on paper. It was alright. It was not great by any means. It was a fight, so nothing. It wasn't insane. It wasn't fight of the night. It was a UFC fight. So yeah, not really much else I can add. So yeah, let's just get into the recap. Round 1, it was pretty much a striking match, and Felipe dos Santos did really good work there, in my opinion, winning the round against Lima, dropping him late with a spinning elbow, did really good work. I think he took him down a few times also, so I gave Felipe round 1, but then for the next 2 rounds, Lima just laid on him and controlled him on the ground for 10 minutes, which, hey, it worked. So Lima did look a little bit not outclassed, but like he would have lost a striking match. But he was smart, took him down, gassed him out, and was able to win a decision. I had 29-28, 30-27 is fine, really don't matter. The judges got it right either way. And André Lima keeps his O, gets a nice win, and goes 3-0 in the UFC. Good work. Again, not a great fight. Like, after round 1, Lima just laid on him for 10 minutes. A little bit disappointing of a fight. Definitely, I would say if I had to pick a fight of the night on paper, this would have been number 2 behind the Peak fight. It's funny enough, neither won fight of the night. But yeah, the disappointing fight, but interesting nonetheless to see 2 very young prospects going at it and seeing who comes out on top, who wins where. And Lima won using his fight IQ and ground game, so good work. Not very much else to say about the fight, so let's talk about the fighters. Let's begin, of course, with the winner, André Lima. Lima's good. Like, he's really a decent fighter. He's getting better. Like, his striking in this fight looked a little meh, but his striking has looked overall pretty good in the UFC. His ground game, offensively, is looking good. Defensively, maybe a little more work to be done. Cardio, great. Fucking, like, patience and calmness is great. He's just a really, like, all-around decent fighter. A really good prospect in division, 25 years old. Is he 9-0 or 10-0? 10-0 now. Getting that experience now, 3 wins, 2 of them against like young prospects and Mitchell Poso. So he's good. He is good. He's getting there. I don't think he's ready for the rankings yet. I think if you threw him in the rankings right now, he might not survive. But another win or 2, a little more experience under their belt against a little bit higher competition, I think he'll be ready for the rankings. I think he's a good fighter. Like I said, his only bad spot is his defensive wrestling, because Felipe did take him out a few times. I believe Igor Severino was taking him down a few times. He did have to grab the cage at one point in the fight tonight. A pretty bad cage grab at that. So if he can fix up that defensive grappling, he can be really fucking dangerous, because outside that, striking, he's really good. Offensive wrestling, he's good. Cardio, patience, fight IQ, the full 9 yards. He's really fucking good. So fix up the one minor hole in your game, and he can easily be a top 15 dude. So let's see if he can do that, man. Let's see if he can keep improving. He's only 25, so you should be improving every fight out. So let's see if he does. And for his opponent, Felipe dos Santos, he's in such a weird spot now. He really should have. This should be his 3rd L in a row, since the Alex Morono fight was a blatant robbery. But yeah, like I said this after the fight on Twitter, and I'll say it here. I feel like we might be hyping up, like overhyping the Manel Cop performance at this point, because A, Manel Cop's trash, and B, not saying Felipe is trash, but he's kind of, I don't know. He's not really. He's mid. Like, fuck, André Lima would beat Manel Cop. I'll fucking say that right now. If that fight's booked, I'm picking André Lima. So, yeah. Like, we hyped it up at the time because it looked good. But again, we've kind of seen Manel Cop get exposed for being trash since that fight a year ago now on the dot. So, yeah. Not really much to say about Felipe. Now 1-2 in the UFC officially. Again, should be 0-3. He's good, but he's definitely inexperienced. He's still very green as a fighter. His striking's very good. His ground game, kind of offensively, kind of the same thing I said of Lima. His offensive ground game's pretty fine. It's his defensive ground game that's terrible. He got completely controlled for 15 minutes by Lima. It's like, and it wasn't even like Lima wasn't even doing anything special. He's just like fucking body locks, controlling him, whatever. So, like, he goes to shoot the box, so of course he's gonna get better at that. And he's only 23 years old. So, like, I feel like he's a dude who might be in the UFC too early. Like, almost. I feel like Felipe is almost in the UFC too early. Like, 23 years old, your fucking debut's a pay-per-view main card fight against a top 10 dude. And now you're getting all the hype afterwards, so you're expected to do really good. I feel like he's just in the UFC too early. So, we'll see how he does in the next fight. Definitely needs a big step down. And, let's see how he does, man. I think he's good. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think it's too early for him. I just don't think he's one of those early bloomers. I think he's more of a, like, I think when he's 28, 29, he's going to be a real problem, but at 23, 24, he's still growing, so gotta let the tree grow before it can grow its branches. And right now, I think Felipe's still growing. So we'll see how long it takes for him to officially grow into the fighter I think a lot of us think he could be, but we've not really got to see yet in UFC. So we'll see what happens next with him. Hopefully he takes some time off and just gets better. But not very much else to say that I can think of outside of who should I fight next. For André Lima, I think he called for a top 15 fight, which I think's a little silly. 3 wins against, like 2 of those wins are nice, but I don't think he deserves a top 15 fight yet. 1 more win and you can make the case, but I don't think he deserves to hop in the top 15 yet. I still think he has 1 more win to get. So let's see him get that win and then do that. Who should that win be against? Let's see. Jimmy Flick's always a good win, but I don't know if there's a little bit of a step backwards and forwards. David Dvorak is never a bad option like that. David Dvorak's not a bad option. Yeah, maybe David Dvorak. Like, I'm trying to think who else is there. Like Jesus Aguilar, but I'm pretty sure I already gave Jesus a better fight idea, and I think that idea is still on the table. I'm not sure. I think it's Rafael Esteban. I think that fight makes a lot more sense for Jesus. Costa, nah, you don't do that fight. That you could do, but I don't know. I think David Dvorak probably makes the most sense. He's still on the roster somehow. André Lima, David Dvorak. Is he still somehow fucking ranked? No. So, but a win over him will definitely give him that top 15 fight that he wants, and I think that fight would make a lot of... I think that's a good stepping stone fight for Lima, so... Yeah, I think David Dvorak would make a lot of sense. Let's book it. A nice little fucking stepping stone. Because that's all David Dvorak is at this point. And then for Felipe dos Santos, just heal up and get better. Like, come back and fight a can like Felipe Boonies or Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas would be the perfect fight for Felipe. Just fucking beat up a can like Borjas. Like, yeah. Or Jose Johnson or something. Just beat up someone bad like that. But I think probably Kevin Borjas would be the best fight for Felipe. A dude who's not very good, a dude he should be able to style on and showcase on, and a fight that just makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense for Felipe. So let's see that. Not very much else to add. Decent, disappointing fight between 2 very good prospects, and fuck, I wouldn't be shocked for seeing this as a rematch in 5, 6, 7 years in the rankings. So, very good fight. On paper, very disappointing fight in execution. But the only thing that really left to add is who should I fight next. I like André Lima versus David Dvorak, and I like Felipe dos Santos versus Kevin Borjas. Lima and Dvorak makes a lot of sense. Quick, easy win for Lima. Then he gets the top 15 fight. Felipe beating up Borjas gets him back on track. Should be a fight to build his confidence back. Make a lot of sense. Just 2 fights that make sense. 2 fights that get these guys nice easy wins is what they need right now. And yeah, let's see those fights. Not really much else to say. Disappointing fight, but they're young. They'll get better. And again, a rematch in the future ain't out the picture. Great performance by Lima. Great win for Lima. After that, we head to our co-main of the prelims. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here because this was not a fight. As in our co-main of the prelims in the featherweight division, again, we had Isaac Dulgarian versus Brendon Marotte. Yeah, this wasn't a fight. Like, this was a fucking beating. Like, this was a mauling. Some prime Hamza shit. Like, I want to see these scorecards. I'm interested. 10-8. How, like, I gave round 1 like a 10-7, 10-6. Like, that was a mauling. So all that happened for about 2 rounds with Dulgarian mauled the shit out of Marotte. Like, again, prime Hamzat levels of mauling. He just got on top and smashed him for 2 rounds until he got to finish. Again, prime Hamzat shit. It was not close. It was not competitive. Again, I don't even think it was a fight. So, just domination. Looking like that minus 225, that minus 25,000 favorite, and just a quick, easy win to get Dulgarian back on track after getting robbed against C-Rod. So, just pure fucking domination from pillar to post. So, yeah. To talk about each fighter real quick, Dulgarian, not very much to say. The UFC handed him probably the easiest fight on the goddamn roster, and he looked great. He should still be undefeated right now. He beat C-Rod clearly. And, yeah, Dulgarian's good. His gas tank looked better here. He didn't look tired in round 2. We saw none of his striking, but we didn't need to. We saw his ground game, which we already know is really good. 28 years old. He's good. Dulgarian's good. Dulgarian's a decent fighter. And, let's see how he keeps improving. This is a good win for him to get his confidence back, get back on track. And now we get him back in there with a pretty tough opponent. So, just a really, really flawless performance. Again, looking like that minus 25,000 favorite. Kinda the high bar to live up to, but he did. And then for Brandon Marotte, yeah, this guy's fucking terrible. Like, he's one of the worst fighters on the roster, and he should get cut. Like, you've had 2 fights in the UFC, and I don't think, landed a punch. So, yeah, he's trash, and he should get cut. Like, you trash got cut after McKinney fight. You got KO'd in 20 seconds. But overall, you got another chance, and you fucking looked somehow worse. So, yeah, just cut him. Like, what's the point of keeping him around? He's not landed a fucking punch, I don't think. So, just cut him. Only thing I have to say now is who should they fight next? For Isaac Dulgarian, there's some options. There's definitely some options if the UFC wants to give him a little bit tougher of a fight. I don't think you give him a super tough fight. Like, again, I don't think you give him one of the top unranked guys like a Hakeem Dawodu or anything like that. But someone decently unranked would make a lot of sense. Melzik Bagdasaryan would be interesting just because that dude never fucking fights, but that's not gonna happen. Sungwoo Choi, actually, that's not bad. Wouldn't that be like a crazy height difference? Let's see, Choi is 6 feet, Dulgarian's 5'7". I might say that fight just for the novelty of it. Is he 5'7"? Again, I might say that fight just for the novelty. I think that'd be such an intriguing, fun fight. The 5'7" wrestler versus the 6-foot giant. That would be fucking fun. Of course, Julio Arce and Jamal Emmers would be fun fights. Like, either one of those two. A nice veteran. Like, I love the Sungwoo Choi fight, though. I think that's such an interesting fight. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it, like, cool about, I guess, but I don't like Shylin, I guess. I don't like that, though. Let's do Sungwoo Choi. I think that fight's too fucking fun not to do. Like, I think he's probably the tallest fucking featherweight, or one of. So, Sungwoo Choi and, Isaac Dulgarian. Book it. I would love to see it. Not really much else to say. Mauling from fucking start of the fight to the end, and don't really got anything else to say. This was some prime Hamzat shit. Who should Dulgarian fight next? I think Sungwoo Choi would be fucking hilarious to see. And, yeah, let's see that fight happen. Not really much else to say. Flawless victory. Fatality. And now for our featured prelim in the lightweight division. We had a fun fight and a fun finish, but between 2 very interesting fighters, as we had Chris Padilla versus Rongzhu. This fight was interesting, very interesting. In round 1, it was a pretty dead even round. You can really score it either way. I gave the round to Rongzhu. I think he landed a little bit better the shots, because it was just pretty much just a kickboxing match for 5 minutes. I think Rong landed the better shots, but it was very tight, a very tight round. And but then round 2 happened. Much of the same in that round, kind of just a tight kickboxing match. But eventually, a couple minutes into the round, Zhu stepped in for some shots. Padilla stepped in with a brutal elbow over a brutal right elbow over the top that landed directly into Rongzhu's left eye, and the second it landed, his eye was gone. It was swelled shut, he couldn't see, and very shortly after, the ref called in the doctor, and it was waved off, doctor stoppage, because his eye turned into a fucking mess real quick. So, it sucks to see a doctor stoppage, but in this case, it's more than warranted, because he could not fucking see. So, and there was probably some brutal damage done to his eye. So, brutal. Fucking brutal. But that's what happens when you get a full force elbow down on your eye. So, kinda gotta block that, bro. Yeah, not much I would say about the fight. It was a fun kickboxing match, and then it turned into eating an elbow with your eye. Not fun. But yeah, fun fight. Let's talk about these fighters. For Chris Padilla, this guy's good. Like, this guy's really fucking good. His record definitely does not show how good he is. Like, he's way better than a 15-6 fighter. Like, his striking is decent. We didn't even see the ground game here, which we know is great. Like, he's really fucking good. Like, he looked great on no camp. He looked even better on a full camp. Like, he's good. He's really fucking good. And this is a nice win. This is a nice win. Yeah, not against the greatest competition, but a win's a win on a full camp as a giant underdog again. He's good, man. I'm excited to see Padilla fight again. I think this guy's really intriguing. Another nice addition in the lightweight division. He's good. One of the best rookies of the year in the UFC, and yeah, I'm excited to see him fight again. If we see him again this year, that'd be cool. If not, cool. He got 2 really nice wins as an underdog this year. Let's see how he follows it up. He called out Marotte. I don't hate that fight. To be honest, I might go with that fight. And, yeah, great performance. 2 back-to-back finishes as well. Love to see it. To talk about his opponent, Rongzhu. I said this in the breakdown. This is the main reason I picked Padilla, and I hate to be rude, but like, Rongzhu sucked in the UFC before, and he's still not great. Like, he looked a little bit better, but we knew, like, he's always been a decent striker. It's everything else in his game that's not great, and like, he just got caught with something. So I don't know. I don't think Rong's a great fighter. I don't know how long his second stint will last. At least he made weight. I'll give him that much. And he was looking decent. You could easily had him up 1-0 going into the second. I did. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I'm just not super impressed with him. I really haven't been at all in the UFC. And if he wants to fucking succeed in the second opportunity, he has to start winning. Like, I get he's very young, but you don't really get a chance in UFC, let alone 2. You have to make the most of it. And so far, 1-3, he's not made the most of it. And I'm not gonna say he's been losing to cans. Ignacio Bahamondes and Chris Padilla are great fighters, but you gotta start winning eventually. And if you don't, you'll be right back on the road to UFC or wherever the fuck else you would like to go. So, he looked better, I guess, but he needs to do more than look better. He has to win. Only thing left to say now is, who should they fight next? For Chris Padilla, like I said, he did call out Marotte, and I don't hate that fight. I think that's a really fun fight. And if Marotte's down to do that fight, I'm down to do that fight. I would like to see that fight. Outside of that, Who else could Padilla fight? Yeah, like, fuck it, I think Marotte makes a lot of sense. And Marotte is a training partner of Rongzhu, so he just wants to keep taking out that Enbo gym. So, damn, they took 2 L's tonight. Brutal. Fuck it, let's do fucking Chris Padilla and Marotte. Let's just keep having him fight people from that gym. Works for me. Makes the fight idea easy. I would like to see it, so let's see it. And for Zhu, give him a step down. Don't give him the easiest fight possible. Give him a very winnable fight. And let's see if he can finally start getting those W's, because he needs them. Outside of that, can't really think of anything else to say. Great performance by Chris Padilla. And who should he fight next? I'd say he should fight who he called out. Marotte, from the same gym as Zhu. Let's see it. Not really much else I can add. Good way to end up prelims. Brutal fucking doctor stoppage. And brutal injury. And, yeah, great performance by Taco again. Back-to-back underdog wins, and this time I picked him. Good shit. So, those are the prelims. Were they great? The first half wasn't. The later half was. The first 3 fights were terrible. The last 4 fights were decent. So, I don't know. Santos and Padilla really carried. Lima and Dulgarian happened. I don't know. Not the best prelims in the world, but I guess not the worst. It's not great though. 4 fights, and to be honest, 2 of them at best I can call good. I'd like a little more, G. I'd like a little more. So, but that was the prelims. Did the main card make the card any better? Yes and no. So, let's see what happened on the main card. 41 minutes in, 42 minutes in. Let's get right into it. What I'm not going to get into is the main card opener, because I'm not going to even waste my time getting annoyed. The main card opener was Peak and Yanal. It was a complete robbery. Peak clearly won, but the judges love rewarding cowards, as all Yanal did was cuddle Peak for 15 minutes. He never, like, if I showed you the stat, okay, you know, I'm going to just do this real quick because I'm a petty bitch, and I just want to prove my fucking point. I want to prove my fucking point. Let me get this up. I'm just gonna show this and move on. Who won this fist fight? Who won this fist fight? Who won this fucking... That's fucking wrong. Who won this fist fight? This was a fist fight. Not a fucking grappling match. Not a nut-sniffing contest. A fist fight. Peak got robbed. Fuck the judges for rewarding coward shit, and fuck Yanal Ashmouz. Robbery. After that, we got to our second fight of the main card, a very fun fight, and another one I got wrong. I'll take it on the chin. As in our second fight of the main card, heading back to the division Demetrius Johnson once ruled over. Enjoy retirement, DJ. We have Cody Durden versus Matt Schnell. Well, this fight was interesting. Very fun fight. In round 1, they pretty much just said, fuck it, we're gonna fight and see if anyone drops. They pretty much just stood in the pocket and started swinging. I don't think there was a knockdown, but there were a couple times they got rocked. I think Schnell landed better in the exchanges at times. Shockingly, he did not get dropped. Cody Durden clearly has no fucking power, which is interesting, because I swear he was dropping Bruno Silva at will. But, yeah, round 1, razor close. I gave to Schnell, I think, but you can give it either way. And then in round 2, Schnell, for some fucking reason, shoots immediately on a takedown, and shoots for a takedown against the wrestler in the fight, and he gets Darce choked. Or front choked, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Anaconda choked, 3 different names now. Easily, and that was that. Why the fuck would you shoot when you were having success on the feet against a wrestler? Dumbass. Yeah, not very much to say. Fun fight. Shitty fight IQ ruined it. And, yeah, shocked there was not a knockdown with how much these guys are swinging, but I guess they don't have a lot of power in the fly division. Whatever. I guess the next thing to speak of is the fighters. I'll start with Cody Durden. Not gonna say much. Fuck Cody Durden, but I will give him his flowers for stepping in on 4 days' notice and winning, no less, and looking decent. So, made weight, looked decent, 4 days' notice. I don't like him, but I respect him here. Good win, looked decent, and yeah, good work. Good work, man. His striking is, hey, I doubted how his chin would look, and after getting brutally KO'd less than a month ago, and it held up pretty fine. He got rocked a few times, but he was able to stay standing. Respect. And then to talk about Matt Schnell, well, I was going to say you should cut him, but he retired. So, I am not really sure what to say. I thank you for Sumadarji fight, because that was badass. Outside of that, I really don't got much good to say. Yeah, I don't reckon he was never really that great of a fighter. His chin's made out of fucking glass, but I guess he did only really have fun fights, so I'll give him that much. But yeah, can't really think of what else to say. That he'll probably go in the Hall of Fame for that amazing Sumadarji fight. One of the greatest fights ever. One of the greatest comebacks ever. One of the craziest fights I've ever fucking watched live. And, yeah. Thank you for that fight. And enjoy retirement. So, can't really say much else. Enjoy retirement. Only thing I have to say now is, who should Cody Durden fight next? He is in the rankings. He is number 15. He did just beat number 11. So he is going to get a big fight next up. Looking at the rankings, he already lost to Bruno Silva. He already lost to Tagir Ulanbekov. Suamabayev is booked. I think Tim Elliott probably makes the most sense. Like two fighters who kind of have the same style in a way. So, like, unless you think he's gonna fight Manel Kopp, which I think is a little fucking insane. So, yeah, I think probably Tim Elliott, Cody Durden, that's a very intriguing fight. Like, I don't think Tim Elliott has a fight booked at the moment, so... No, yeah, he's who knows if he'll even fight again this year, so, yeah, Tim Elliott and Cody Durden. Outside of that, I don't know what you'd even really do. Like, again, unless you're gonna have him fight Manel Kopp or rematch a guy he lost to within his last 2 fucking fights, that being Tagir and Bruno. So, yeah, let's have him fight Tim Elliott. Or you have him fight some unranked, but outside of Alexandre Costa, who the fuck would that be? So, yeah, let's see, is there anyone unranked outside of Costa? Not really, Al Nascimento or Rafael Filho, but yeah, so let's have him fight Tim Elliott. Makes sense in my book, and let's do it. So, not very much else I can think to say. Fun fight, good one for Cody Durden. Again, respect for stepping in on short notice, looking decent, winning, etc. I don't like you, but good win. And I guess the only thing I have to say is, who should he fight next? I like Cody Durden versus Tim Elliott. Makes sense. Book it. Schnell, enjoy retirement. And, I didn't even think, but I would give him Cody Durden a fight idea. So, damn it. But, yeah, not very much else to say. Enjoy retirement, Schnell. Cody Durden, Tim Elliott. Makes sense. That's all I gotta say. After that, we had what should have been our co-main event of the evening. Sadly, it was not, but it was still a fun fight and very predictable. As in our third fight of the main card, we head back to featherweight again, for a fun, predictable fight between Steve Garcia versus Kyle Nelson. Yeah, this was super predictable. Like, pretty much all that happened is the fight started, Garcia threw a kick, got shoved down, Nelson cuddled him for a minute or so, and eventually Garcia finally just started punching him, eventually leading to an elbow up close that hurt Nelson, and it put him down in a little bit more ground and pound. It was over. Another first round finish for Steve Garcia, another finish in general for Steve Garcia, and yeah, great win. Five KOs in a row now. He's a problem. He's on a fucking roll now, and you love to see it. You fucking love to see it. And it's a predictable fight. Like, Garcia's just levels above bum-ass Kyle Nelson, and I guess the only bad thing I can say about this fight is I kind of feel bad for Calvin Kattar, because that was meant to be him and Nelson, and Kattar would have, of course, beat Kyle Nelson, so, yeah. Sad Kattar missed out on an easy win, but it happens. But, yeah, not really much else to say about the fight. Only a 4-minute fight and a first-round knockout at that, so we'll talk about the fighters. For Steve Garcia, again, 5 KOs in a row now at featherweight against decent competition, like, against notable name guys. He's on a fucking roll, and he's really fucking good. Like, I could not think in 2021, 2022, I'd be talking about Steve Garcia on a 5-fight winning streak, and he should be in the rankings. I was not expecting that fucking timeline, but that's the timeline we're in, and he's earned it. I think he's finally getting respect now. People are really starting to talk about him, as they should. I thought he was one of the more underrated guys for, like, go after the Costa fight, and now he's probably the more hyped up guys in the division. Everyone's saying he should get a rankings fight, so good for him, man. 32 years old, hitting his fucking prime clearly. 5 finishes in a row. You'll love to see it, and you'll love to see a dude who just seems like a nice, chill dude go out there and do what he does best, put people to fucking sleep. So good for Garcia, man. Good for Garcia. And for Kyle Nelson, he sucks like he always does. He had one of the more fraudulent fucking winning streaks. He beat a can, that was a robbery, and an early stoppage. So he had his 15 seconds of fame and a fraudulent winning streak, and now he's back to being a bum. So 33 years old, Canada, you're never gonna have a good fighter, I swear to God. But I guess the only thing left to say now is who should they fight next? And I brought up his name earlier, and I guess it only makes sense that they do this fight. I think Steve Garcia should fight Calvin Kattar. Garcia stepped in for Calvin Kattar here. Garcia deserves a top ranking fight. Let's have him fight Calvin Kattar. It would be a banger. And yeah, it's not an easy win for Kattar like the Nelson fight, but Kattar's old and washed, so why give him an easy win? We know the UFC don't like to do that often, so let's build up Steve Garcia, get him his probably 6th win in a row, and yeah, Calvin Kattar and Steve Garcia. Who would not want to see that fight? I know I want to see it, so book it. No, I don't give a fuck who Kyle Nelson fights. Not very much else to say. Great quick fight. Great quick performance by Garcia. Still getting those knockouts. 5-fight KO streak at featherweight. Crazy. Only thing left to say is who should they fight next? I like Steve Garcia versus Calvin Kattar. Again, I think that makes the most sense. And yeah, he deserves it. Let's get Garcia in the top 15, man. He earned it. Not very much else to say. Great quick knockout to extend the streak to 5. Can he make it 6? And now for what should have been our main event, but for whatever reason it was not. But whatever. Our co-main event of the evening, the real main event, not the shit one. We had a a flyweight banger, the fight of the night. As predicted, it was going to be a great fight between 2 great fighters, as we had Natália Silva versus Jéssica Andrade. What a fun fight. Pretty much went how I think I and many people predicted it to go. Like, Natália Silva would just skate around the octagon for 15 minutes, and that's what she did. Like, Andrade did land some nice shots, but overall, Silva kind of just skated around the octagon, landing the better shots, and after 15 good minutes, she got her hand raised. Yeah, not very much. Like, if you've seen just, like, I compared this, like, I thought Silva was gonna have a performance like Joanna did against Andrade, which was exactly this, just fucking skating around a cage, bopping her. That's what Silva did, and that's how you fight Jéssica Andrade. You fight her at range, moving side to side, trying to dodge her fucking hammers, and that's what Silva did perfectly. She did get clipped a couple times, but her chin held up perfectly. I don't think she ever really got rocked, like maybe once, and that's it. She had a pretty great performance against a legend, looked as good as she could, passed the legend test perfectly, and that's how you fight Jéssica Andrade. That's simple. That's how she, like, her and Joanna have shown the blueprint to fighting Jéssica Andrade. So, you stay at range and pick her apart. She's gonna move forward no matter what, like the little tank we know and love. But, overall, Silva figured out the game plan pretty quickly and got the win. To talk about Natália Silva first, she's really fucking good. Like, and there's not much else to say about the fight. I said all I could. Now let's talk about the fighters. Again, Natália Silva is really fucking good. 6-0 in the UFC now, 3 veteran wins in a row. She can't look much better. Like, I don't even know if she's lost around the UFC. Maybe, I think the only time she looked like a beatable, not even beatable, the only time she didn't look flawless was the Trey Blade fight. I think she might have lost a round in that fight. But outside of that, she's dominated Jasmine Jasovicius, a top 15 fighter, Angela Lee, a veteran, Viviane Araújo, a top 15 fighter, Jéssica Andrade, a legend, fucking brutalized Bleda and Leonardo. She's so fucking talented. Like, her kickboxing and the ability to fight at range and all that is fucking beautiful. And she's a problem. Like, we've barely even seen her ground game, which I'm guessing is fucking amazing as well. Like, she is so good at scary, and I won't be shocked if she's holding a belt sooner than later. So, she's a problem. She's a fucking problem, and now it's time for her to get one more fight in, and then a title shot. And I'll say what that fight is in a second, but she's one win away from a title shot, and to be honest, she beats Valentina. Does she beat Grasso? Does she beat Manon? I would love to find out. And I also want to add in, I'm sorry for Natália's loss of her sister. Sad story. Happy she was able to get the win here in honor of her. Always sucks to hear sad stories like that, but at least it turned into a nice win. To talk about Jéssica Andrade, the legend. Like, it's Andrade. She's a gatekeeper at this point, which is not a bad thing. Like, she's a gatekeeper. She's a legend. She's one of the greatest female fighters of all time at this point. I feel like that's a conversation not had enough. Like, no, she's not Nunes, Cyborg, Rousey, Valentina, but if we do a top 10, Andrade is like 7, like probably top 7 or 6. All the accolades, all the fights, all the moments, and she still has like 5 years left, if not more. She's only 32 and she can still hang with the best in the division, of any division. So, we all love Jéssica Andrade, we all should love Jéssica Andrade at least. Never has a boring fight. A legend of the game, first ballot Hall of Famer, and whenever she has a fight news drop, I'm always happy to hear it. So, I don't know if she'll get in there again this year. She might just take the rest of the year off and come back early next year. That's fine. In either weight class, where is she ranked at strawweight? I think she might be ranked higher now. Top 4 at strawweight, gonna drop at flyweight. She'll probably go back to strawweight and fight someone there. So we'll see what happens with that. Who knows what weight class she feels like fighting in. But whichever one it is, I'm excited to see her fight. So yeah, 32 years old, still got it, and the tiny tank that we all love. Only thing I have to say now is, who should they fight next? for Natália Silva, there's one fight in mind, and I think it makes the most sense, and I think this should be a winner gets a title shot fight. I think Natália Silva should fight, I think, Macy Barber was probably one win away from a title shot, and she still is. Like, hell, she could have easily got a title shot at one point. I wouldn't have been too shocked. But at this point, she kind of lost her opportunity. Now she really does need to get one more win, because you got Manon, who jumped her clearly. Rose Namajunas is fucking breezing down at her neck now, like leaping her, because the UFC loves Rose for no reason. And I got Natália Silva, who might have leaped her. I think we need to see Natália Silva and Macy Barber. I think that'd be a badass fucking fight. Cool main event, cool co-main, whatever. Winner gets a title shot. I'm fine with that. I think that'd be a great test for both. I think that'd be a great fight, and I would love to see it. So I hope we get it. It makes the most sense. Hopefully Barber can clear up her health issues, because that's been the main reason she pulled out the Rose fight and a couple other fights. So hopefully she can clear that up and get back in there. And let's see her fight Natália Silva. Let's see who earns a title shot against the winner of whoever wins, but whoever is the champ out of Val, Grasso, and Manon. So just makes the most sense. And I'm not gonna waste time giving Jéssica Andrade a fight today. You have no fucking idea what weight class she's fighting in, so that's just kind of a waste of time in my opinion. So yeah, not very much else to say. Great fight, great co-main event, great performance by Natália Silva, passing the test against a legend with flying colors. Excuse me. And who should she fight next? I think the fight that makes the most sense, and the fight I would love to see, is Natália Silva versus Macy Barber. The winner should get a title shot. I would be fine with that as a fight night main event. I know a lot of people would complain about that. I don't care. That fight deserves a meaningful, good fight. Deserves a main event. I get your complaints with Rose Namajunas' mains. Those are shit. Natália Silva and Macy Barber would be a banger. So let's get that booked. Hopefully this year, next year. Well, actually, probably the later the better, because they're gonna have to wait for Grasso and Manon. So whenever you can get that booked, hopefully, or if the UFC has something else planned, I don't know. But I think Natália and Barber makes the most sense. So let's get that booked. Not very much else to say. Great co-main event, great performance. She's legit. And not gonna waste a lot of time here. Time for the shit main event of the evening after just talking about the real main event of the evening. Not gonna waste your time here. Main event, welterweight division. Sean Brady versus Gilbert Burns. The fight was fucking terrible. One of the worst fights, worst main events of the year. Snooze fest throughout, no shocker. And I could care less who they fight next. Brady's trash. Gilbert's washed. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I told you Andrade Silva should have been the main event. And it should have been, because it was a way better fight. Listen to me more. Or actually less. I was right about that though. But fuck this fight. They both suck. And finally, boom. That was the card to go over how I did on picks. To be honest, I only got 4 wrong. I don't care what anyone says. The only 4 I got wrong were Burns, Schnell, Yizha, and Ramaska. I don't count robberies, and I don't count cheating. So, the only 4 I got wrong were Burns, that was a biased pick. Schnell, he's fucking stupid. Yizha, I'm fucking stupid. And Ramaska kinda sucks. So, yeah. The rest of my picks, okay. I made a lot of dog picks. I think I had 6, I believe. It's gonna be a risky night with all that underdog, but a couple of them did hit, like Chris Padilla. Well, actually, only one of them really hit. So, fuck it. God damn it. But, I'd rather fucking go out on my shield. I had a couple feelings, and most of them burnt me. But at least Chris Padilla won, so I'll take it. Oh yeah, 6 of 12 for perfect 440 was my official numbers. The bonuses for the night were Jéssica Andrade, Natália Silva, got 5 of the night. Steve Garcia and Cody Durden got performance bonuses. I cannot agree more. To a T, I agree. The only thing you could throw in is Chris Padilla getting a performance bonus, but I think you're kind of being too generous at that point. So I'm perfectly fine with this. This is the exact same bonuses I would have given out, and yeah, happy the UFC got that right. And now the only thing left to say is, if you missed a card, what should you go back and rewatch? Very little. Skip all of this garbage. This is optional. You could skip this. I would say Padilla. The only things I would say for sure are Padilla, Durden, Garcia, and Silva. And then Santos if you want, because garbage, not really needed. Robbery, a complete waste of 25 minutes. So Silva, Garcia, Durden, Padilla, and Santos is what you should go back and rewatch. If you missed a card, everything else was trash. So yeah, I think that's half the card. 1, 2, 3, 4, not almost half. So hey, only 5 fights. You can skip the other garbage 6. But yeah, not really much else I can say. Terrible card, as expected, and maybe even worse than expected. I thought the card could be passable. It was not. It was fucking garbage. Unacceptable. So, 5 good fights, and I'm pushing it, not saying 4. It was dreadful to watch live. It was a complete waste of time. And like most Apex cards, it's just, I don't know why I even watched it. A lot of cards this year in general, I don't even know why I watched it, so complete waste of time. And now, what a perfect way to head into a terrible card next week in the Sphere. UFC 306, Noche, whatever stupid fucking tagline they have. It's UFC 306. A terrible fucking card. Thank God for Sean O'Malley, because that card is garbage. So, yeah, Sugar Show Fight Week, I'm excited for that. So I'm interested to see how the Sphere looks, but outside of that, I think that card's awful. Outside of Lopez Ortega, dude, what the fuck is, 10 fights, and most of them are fucking, the shittiest pay-per-view fights ever? UFC, you never fail to suck. But, whatever. That's next week. This week we had this garbage, and it was garbage, so whatever. Next time you hear from me is Friday, breaking down UFC 306, and I'll recap it on Sunday. So, probably. If depending on what happens, it might be a Monday one, you never know. But, yeah, not really much I'll say. I'll stop rambling on about this garbage. Unless I'm forgetting to say something, the only thing left to say is, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year. And as always, it's as great as it is to be back recapping cards, this was dreadful to watch. And this was a waste of time. As always, RX out. Good vibes only and always.